Valentine's Day, Grumelinos. This is the start of a brand new reading vlog where I will be reading 6 books. Yes, 6 books. And this is probably a good hint. Also, my wife over here is also a good hint. See? We're hinting. I can't move the camera far enough away that we're both in frame at the same time. Maybe? Kinda? No. Okay, so the vlog, I know I'm a little overexposed. There's a giant window that someday, eventually, we're gonna get rid of. But, oh gosh, I didn't even do my actual intro. So I said happy Valentine's Day, but it's I, Catherine, your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. And this is less chaotic because I just did Sapphic Romance, and I'll be doing, you've probably guessed, the Game Changer series. I have all 6 books behind me. They're in this box. Behold the box. I'm not going to pull all of them out, but just know I will be reading all 6 books in the Game Changer series. The first one being, I think I know which side it's on. Is it this one? Am I grabbing the right one? Yeah! The first one being Game Changer, because it is the Game Changer series. So I'll be reading this one first, and then I'll be moving through the rest of the 6. I will probably not be reading anything today, because it's Valentine's Day and we're watching a bunch of stuff. We started the day with the Harley Quinn Problematic Valentine's Day episode. That is actually the name of it, I believe. It's like Problematic Valentine's Day special. So we watched that. Krista had flan and I had Trace Leche's cake for breakfast. She got me this really cute Valentine's one. It was not in the vlog. I ate it, sorry. And we're wearing our matching Rosenov and Hollander sweatshirts. And right now we have Valentine's Day, the movie on. And yeah, we've had a lot of deliveries today too. It's been a crazy day. Krista ordered us wine, and all the wine showed up today in 2 boxes. We're part of it's like a special club thing, right? The cider. It's like a 1911 cider club. And so they send you a cider every they send you 3 ciders every, is it 3 months? Something like that. And they normally send you new flavors or flavors they brought back. So that came today and we weren't expecting it. I'm gonna be drinking cider today, just FYI, because Krista's not really drinking in the event that we have to take Chloe anywhere because she's still recovering. So I'll be having cider. I did want her to try the strawberry one because I think she'll like it. So she'll get a teeny little tasting sip, I guess. And then I ordered Wellingtons for Krista because she wanted Wellingtons for Valentine's Day. So I ordered those. Sorry, I have a giant piece of hair just sticking out into the ether. So the Wellingtons came. There's just a lot of stuff. And something else is coming. Krista said something is coming at 1, which is in a half hour. So yeah, we'll see what that is. But the vlog itself is primarily me reading the Game Changers books. I'm sure we'll wind up rewatching Heated Rivalry. We have watched it already. But I will be reading these. I'm very excited. I also got all 6 books using 2 different Christmas/birthday gift cards. One was, actually they were both your gift cards. Krista also wanted the books, so we used her gift cards to Barnes & Noble. And then shipping was covered because it was 6 books, and I think I paid 50 bucks, less than 50, 45, something like that, for all 6 of them, which is a pretty solid price, knowing that it's 6 books. I basically paid $8 a book, $9, 9 brain, yes, $9 a book, which is pretty solid because they're actually $19. So there you go. But yeah, we're just gonna hang out and watch movies. I will probably show you the 1 o'clock surprise. And also I'll tell you about the ciders. So today is less reading, more celebrating Valentine's Day. We're having just a very cozy, not really going anywhere day at home because again, Chloe is still recovering. She can't be left alone. So we're all just hanging downstairs on the recovery bed. Yes, we bought a full-size mattress and put it in our living room because Chloe can't do stairs. So we were just down here. I've slept down here the past couple of nights because Krista is sick. So we won't even be in the same bed tonight on Valentine's Day. I will be sleeping on a bed in our living room and she'll be upstairs with the pups, the other 2 pups who are over there. You can kind of see Kira. But yeah, so be ready for Game Changers and Valentine's Day stuff, Gremelinos. I will see you sometime later today. Okay, so this is the surprise that got delivered at 1 o'clock. It's heart-shaped pizza! Heart-shaped pizza that my camera doesn't want to focus on. You can do it. There you go. It's heart-shaped pizza. I'm very excited. I love heart-shaped pizza. It's fantastic. I also had it. No, I didn't have this one for my birthday. This is almost what we got for my birthday. We got the other place for my birthday. And then I have strawberry cider, which, oh, I should open this so I can try it. Okay, hold on. It's cute. It's Valentine's-y. It says Ugh. Sweet and tart fruit from the heart. And now you're gonna get a very close-up angle of my wife as I flip the camera awkwardly. Wah! Alright. Ooh, it smells really strawberry. Strawberry words. Mmm! My little sip. I'm also trying the red sangria today because it's new. It's good. Yeah. Alright. Well, I gotta put this down. Please don't spill. Alright, we are gonna eat pizza. And I will talk to you when I'm making Wellingtons, probably. Possibly. Or when they're done. But we're gonna finish watching Valentine's Day and eat pizza. So, see you later tonight.
Show them crow.
Oh. That's a clue. She would also like pizza, but she can't have any. None of the pups are getting pizza. She had her spleen removed. In case you haven't seen other videos, she had a tumor on her spleen that ruptured. The spleen ruptured. The tumor caused the rupture. So that happened 19 days ago. As of me filming, not as of posting. But she can only eat like certain stuff and we're supposed to gradually get her back to like normal dog food, but she definitely can't have pizza. So she's gonna be very upset about that. But see you in the kitchen sometime later today. Good morning, Gremolinos. Based on this sweatshirt, I think you would assume that it is still Saturday. It's not. It's Tuesday. I haven't talked to you since Saturday. I also think I told you I was going to show you the Wellingtons we ordered, and that didn't happen because you should not buy Wellingtons from Williams-Sonoma. I'm sure that's not a thing many people are going to do anyway. Krista really wanted Wellingtons for Valentine's Day, and we've bought some previously, like a little while ago, from a few companies, and they've all kind of been meh. And so I, like, way too expensive for the product that you receive. That kind of meh. And so Williams-Sonoma said they had them, and I was like, fine, like I will get Williams-Sonomas. We've never ordered those, maybe that'll work. No. So they were secretly a repackage of one we bought like 2 years ago that cooks like crap. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I wound up calling them because I was like, I wouldn't have bought these if your site had anywhere said that these were supplied by Wellingtons LA. And they were like, oh, it doesn't say that. And I was like, no, nowhere on your website does it say that. And because it's a food product, you can't get an actual refund, but they gave me a gift card for the entire price that I paid, including shipping and tax. And I was like, okay. So now I just have a Williams-Sonoma gift card, which is odd because I don't shop there, like, ever. This is the first time I've ever purchased anything in Williams-Sonoma. There is one at Destiny USA Mall, I think, which eventually we'll go to. So I'll have it. I told Krista I think they sometimes get really, really bougie Halloween stuff. So maybe I'll use it for that. I don't know. But that's the last thing that really happened that I didn't show you on Valentine's Day. We just hung out for the rest of the day. And then over the weekend, we just like watched movies and napped and just chilled. And then yesterday, I went to Quick Med, which they're a hot mess 90% of the time. But Krista's had a sinus infection and we're very sure I caught it, except my lungs were acting up. And so she was like, I think it's probably like you have an upper respiratory infection. I'll never know because I waited an hour. I saw a doctor who acted like she didn't read my chart at all. And then she was like, so what did you come in for? And I was like, isn't it on my, like I had to tell them all this stuff. I was like, my wife had a sinus infection and I have really bad asthma and I think I caught it and it's in my lungs now. Like the infection has spread. And she was like, okay. And she like checks my nose, checks my throat, listens to my lungs, and I'm like incapable of taking a deep breath while she's doing it. She keeps being like, you're not really taking a deep breath when I'm telling you to take a deep breath. And I'm like, that's why I'm here. Okay. And then she was just like, so you wanted like an inhaler? And I was like, what? And I was like, no, I have treated asthma. Like I'm on a bunch of inhalers. Like what? And she was like, oh, so just like antibiotics. Did you want steroids? And I'm like, this is the weirdest doctor's appointment, like doctor visit that I've ever had. And I've gone in for like an upper respiratory infection there just because it's like the easiest place to go to. It's not always the fastest. And there's a different doctor there who's much better and who's normally like, oh, okay, so what's going on? And like actually acts like she knows what's happening. And I was like, this is terrible. And I've actually had this specific person before. So I forget what they are. I think they're PAs, and I think it's all PAs, which is fine. PAs are lovely. But I remember this woman because the first time I messed up this eye, which if you haven't seen my older videos, at one point I had a corneal abrasion that was really bad that I didn't realize was a corneal abrasion and it just kept getting worse. That's not what this was. I managed to get a part of a fuzzy hat, like a piece of yarn, like a thread off of yarn. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a segment of the yarn was in my eye, and I could feel something like moving around in my eye. And I went to Quick Med assuming they had an eye flush option, like they could flush my eye and it'd be fine. And they're like, oh, we don't flush eyes. And I got this doctor, and I remember I saw her and I was like, no, there's something in my eye. And she was like, oh, I don't think so. Like, your eye just looks very swollen, but you said you've been touching it. And I was like, yes, to try and get the thing out of my eye. And she was like, I'm just gonna give you some eye drops for tearing. Like, she didn't even give me antibiotics, like an antibiotic drop. And I was like, what? And so I literally came home after seeing this woman and flushed my eye myself, and the thing came out, my eye was fine, and I used some over-the-counter eye drops. But like, I saw this woman come in the room and I was like, oh, it's her. It's that woman. Like, I was just like, no. Because the other person, doctor, PA, whatever, is so much nicer, and she like will check everything and then like tell you what she thinks is going on. Literally the paperwork I have just says acute sinusitis, and I was like, yeah, because acute sinusitis stops you from being able to take a deep breath, lady. Great. So now I'm on steroids and an antibiotic. They're over there because I'm not taking them until 1:30. But yeah, I was just like, what in the, it was ridiculous. We got Krista's dad to come over and watch Chloe for the hour that I was at Quick Med. The hour I was there. And I didn't even like get my prescriptions there. Krista had to drop me off because it took another hour for the prescriptions to get processed. Because we were also waiting for a prescription for Chloe. And it was apparently also just a shit show. And I was like, oh God. But I have a clip for you that is not about the days that I wasn't filming. I finished all of the first book of the vlog, Game Changer. This one is the book that the series is named after. And I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've seen the show. So be prepared for there to be more spoilers for this one and Heated Rivalry than the other books. Just because I want to compare them to the show a tiny bit. So in this, we're following Scott, who is the hockey player. He's right there. He plays for the Admirals in New York, and he is like a star player. He's incredible. He's really got his mojo back this season. And this is Kip up there. His full name is Christopher, but he goes by Kip. And he works at a smoothie place called Straw Plus. It's Straw and Berry, I believe, is the actual name, which is very funny. And he just happens to be working on the day that Scott Hunter comes in, and he's actually pretty hungover. Kip, not Scott. And Scott's like, yeah, I just came in to get a smoothie. And the two of them kind of like hit it off right away. And Kip's like, that's so weird. Like, he couldn't be flirting with me. Like, who was that guy? That guy was hot. And then someone's like, oh my God, that was Scott Hunter. And he was like, oh. And he gives Scott Hunter Blue Moon Over Brooklyn is the name of this movie. In this, he doesn't custom make it for him like he does in the episode in Heated Rivalry that focuses on them. I think it's episode 4. It's episode 4 or 5. It's like in the middle. But they have a full episode in the series, which I believe is to set up the ending. Like, you need to know what's happening with Scott and Kip for the big reveal that does occur that impacts Shane and Ilya in Heated Rivalry. So just throwing that out there. But he doesn't like special make it in this, but he does make it for him. He says like, oh, this is like my favorite one. And then the two of them like keep seeing each other because Scott keeps coming in, and he says because he's superstitious. I'm gonna put this down for a second. My hair is doing a weird thing. So Scott keeps coming in because he says superstitious, and the two of them are just like really, really hitting it off. And ultimately, Scott gives Kip his phone number. And the two of them start dating. But the issue is that Scott is closeted. Scott's like, I can't really be out. The NHL is not a place that you can like be gay. And he's like, so I'm not going to come out. I'll consider it at some point, but not right now. And Kip's like, okay, I can understand. That's fine. Because like they just started dating. Now they continue to date for a while. And what happens is Kip is really just spending a lot of time at Scott's apartment because, hi, Chloe. Hello. Hi. No, you can't be on the couch. No. You are literally not allowed on the couch, lady. Come on, it's just the box with books in it. Just lay down, ma'am. Please lay down. Ma'am, no. Nope, hold on. Hi, I'm back. Chloe really wants to be on the couch. Returning to Game Changers. So they spend a lot of time in Scott's very, very fancy apartment because, like, Kip stays over. I just am now aware that every single book in this series is going to involve a lot of spicy scenes. There's a lot. They basically hang out at Scott's and have a lot of sex. A lot of it, just a lot. And then Scott is consistently out of town. So like he'll be in town for some games and he has to travel. And so Kip is actually sometimes staying at Scott's while Scott's away. And the two of them still stay in contact typically while he's traveling. While this is going on for Scott, Scott is contending with the fact that he's in the closet, and Kip has to deal with the fact that he's dating a guy in the closet, even though Kip's been out for a while. Kip continues working, but he's also debating about going to grad school. He has his Chloe Bell. Chloe really thinks she's completely healed and wants to do whatever she wants today. Chloe, lay down and leave the kitty alone. My gosh. Grad school. He wants to go to grad school because he's applied for some jobs in his field. He has a history degree. I have a history degree normal and a history degree master's, and I'm not working in my chosen field. I have a nice job though. I like my job. But Chloe, leave her alone. Chloe. Sorry, this clip is so crazy. Chloe really, really does not want to settle today at all. She has no desire. Hi, please lay down. Thank you. Okay, so he is considering applying to grad schools, but he also wants to stop working at Straw and Berry because he wants a better paying job, and he just doesn't have that. He also has a really good network of friends. So he has a friend named Elena. He works with someone named Maria who he becomes friendly with, and then he has a few guy friends who occasionally appear, and I cannot remember their names because he spends most of his time with Elena and then Maria. Elena does wind up being, she is the person he winds up telling because they're all kind of invited to the same event. Elena works for a really fancy company, and she's like, oh, you should come with me if he's coming. So like Elena knows all about everything. And Elena's like, you two are so in love with each other and you're dumb. Like, she's like, he's not gonna be able to stay in the closet. Like, this is not gonna work out. Like, you don't want to be closeted. Like, he hasn't even told his parents at a certain point. Like, it takes him a long time to actually tell anyone besides Elena, because Scott's like, please don't tell people, like, I'm not ready right now. So that's all going on. But all of this is like really building for Scott. And so like Scott starts feeling bad consistently because Kip is starting to get upset that like they can't go on dates, they can't really go anywhere. Like, he invites Scott to his birthday, but it's going to be at a gay bar called the Kingfisher, and Scott's like, I can't go. And he's like, oh, it would be really nice if you could go. And then that doesn't particularly go well, though Scott does pick him up. I know that's not in the episode, but it is in here. And then the two of them do continue dating, but it does become this huge issue that Scott can't come out, and Scott is very worried about them getting caught. Like, they go to lunch, someone recognizes him and he panics. They go to a museum and photos are taken of them, and they don't look like they're dating, though a lot of people are like all of Kip's friends are like, he looks like he wants to eat you. And he's like, shut it, it's fine, we're just friends. But like, Scott gets freaked out. And so anytime Scott gets identified with Kip around him as like Scott, the hockey player, he panics. Like, he just can't, he's like so panicked about getting caught. But that starts affecting his game. So like, he and Kip get into kind of a fight, and then he starts playing like crap. And then he's like, I want to come out. Like, this is driving me crazy. Like, he's like, I can't play. Like, it's affecting my game a lot. And he was like, and it's affecting Kip, and I love Kip, and I want to be with Kip. And he's like, I can't keep not being out. So a lot of it turns into Scott having to contend with, can I keep dealing with keeping this a secret, or can I find a way to come out? Because again, the argument is that the NHL is not accepting of gay people. He's like, it's not really a thing. Like, you don't come out. It's like not a thing. People use all of those slurs that you've heard consistently in locker room, and it's like not a thing. Like, they use it to get under your skin. Like, people aren't out. But then Scott does come up with a plan. Now, if you've seen the show, you know what kind of the end goal of the plan is. I don't want to, so if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to avoid spoiling too much. I will say that there's more lead up to that big reveal scene in the book, where Scott is trying to figure out who he can tell, what he needs to do, who he thinks are the best people to come out to first, and he does make a coming out plan. Also in this, Kip has a mom and a dad. In the show, I think it's just Kip and his dad, I believe, and the mom isn't around, but Kip's parents are both in it, and we meet his sister and his brother-in-law. So he also has like a family support network, and so it stresses him out that he can't even tell them about Scott. Though again, the coming out plan is a bit different, and there is a scene in the book that is similar to a scene in Heated Rivalry, the show, as I have not read the book yet. So just know there are like things that occur. What are you doing? Oh, good Lord. Dogs are being so weird today. But I really, really enjoyed this one. It is a lot about Scott's journey to coming out. Scott is also still an orphan in this. But in this, he was raised by a single mom, and then she had cancer. In the show, I believe it's that his parents died in a car accident, so it is different in this. But I really like Scott and Kip. It was interesting to see Scott really trying to like figure out how to come out once he was like, I can't lose Kip, and I'm gonna lose Kip if I don't come out. And yeah, so there's a lot that happens. There is a bit more drama because there's a fight that, because it's a book, it's given more time between the two of them, where like they are not communicating well, and even when they do see each other, it does not feel like they're not having they're not connecting well. Kip also winds up meeting a friend, but Kip does get very drunk, and the guy like thinks they're flirting, and he goes to kiss Kip, and Kip's kind of like, okay, and he's like, no, I'm dating Scott. Duh. And like, he's very drunk, so it's not really his fault. The guy does kiss him. He's like, that was a really bad judgment call. Like, they meet later. She's like, I should not have done that. You were very drunk. So that was appreciated. But in this, Kip really does have a pretty strong community, which I enjoyed. And also the Kingfisher plays a slightly larger role, because Kip winds up getting a job there, which I know is not discussed in the show, but he wants to get a job that pays better, and Kingfisher pays better tips-wise and hourly than Straw and Barry. So that is a bit different. So yeah, there are also, in this, there are so many references to Rosanov. So many. And it's so odd. He even appears in the epilogue, and I was like, okay, I mean, that's a good tie-in. It's not odd. It's a good tie-in to the next book. But what's funny is in this one, there are a few things that come up where people will ask if Scott is dating Rosanov. Or like, it's not Rosanov, is it? That's not who you met? And I'm like, what? Because no one's out. So, and like, Rosanov isn't out at this point. This is, I don't know what year this one is set in, but it has to be at least 2016. Because there was I read a prologue. But I really enjoyed Game Changer. There are a lot of spicy scenes. Just, if you thought this one might be slightly more tame, it is not, which makes me think, and based on Heated Rivalry, which I've only read the prologue for, this is just, I know this based on the show is also gonna be a lot of spice. Also, my bookmark is moving, so sorry. The prologue is just a sex scene. The prologue is set in 2016, and it is a sex scene at an apartment that Shane owns. And then we jump back 8 years, and that's where the book itself starts. So I'll be trying to read this one today. My goal is to read a little bit faster this week. Just over the weekend, I didn't feel well, and we wanted to relax and watch movies and stuff. So I just kind of was very casual in my reading. Also, I'm trying to fix my sleeve because I want it to be further down my arm. There we go. So yeah, so I'll be reading Heated Rivalry next. And those are the two that are covered in the Heated Rivalry show so far. And then we'll be delving into new characters, because the other 3 of the next 4 books are different characters, though I think some of them have appeared in Game Changer so far. I think one has. It's a guess, but I think. But yeah, so I'll be moving on to Heated Rivalry. Sorry if angles are weird. I'm having to film in my like work area since I still am monitoring Chloe while I work. But I'm gonna go because I need to actually get ready for work, because it was a 3-day weekend, so I'm logging in early, like very early, to handle stuff that came in. So I'm gonna do that. And then at some point today I need to paint my nails. I even brought the nail polish down here, so I would do it. So yeah, but I'm gonna go. I will talk to you hopefully later tonight about Heated Rivalry. I hope. Fingers crossed. Good morning, Gremolinos. Yes, I'm in the exact same spot, and I'm also wearing the exact same sweater. And it's Wednesday. So I promise you, next clip, not next clip, because I'm hoping to finish my book before the end of the day. Next book, you'll see, I will be wearing something else. I may be in the same spot though. I cannot promise you I won't be here. Maybe I'll be in the kitchen. Maybe I'll mix it up. Who knows? But for right now, I'm in my about to be work area. Actually, it's like an hour. It's over an hour before I have to be to work, because Krista has to be to work way earlier than me. Also, I totally have makeup under my eye. But yeah, so she has to go to work way earlier than me. So it is early. I have like an hour, 15 minutes, math, but I'm tired. At least an hour that I can read before work, and then maybe I'll read on my lunch break. So I think I can definitely get the book I'm currently reading done. But we're here. I'm wearing my Rosanov sweatshirt. I was gonna steal Krista's Hollander sweatshirt, but she wore it to work today, so I couldn't do that. I wanted her to be able to wear it. So I am here to talk to you about Heated Rivalry because I finished it. I'm also gonna lean this way because my work laptop's over there. It doesn't have anything definitive to say where I work, but I don't want you to know. It's weird. But yeah, so I finished Heated Rivalry. I read all of this yesterday, and oh my gosh, this, okay, so I've seen the show already, and then so I knew show stuff going in. This is a very solid adaptation. There are scenes plucked directly from this book, and I will say some of the changes make sense for how the plotting of a TV show. So at the beginning of this, if you don't know, I'm assuming again that you've seen the show if you're here or something, but maybe not. We're following Shane and Ilya, who meet in, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the date. No, that's a prequel. Hold on. I need the date they actually met. Yes, they meet in December of 2008 in Regina, Canada. They are both competing in, I think it's the junior nationals. There's a lot of like competitive hockey things, and I will screw up the names of the stuff they were at. I'm very sorry. But they meet in December of 2008, and they kind of like, something is there sort of right away, but the two of them have this rivalry. They're both very praised as being fantastic hockey players. They're both young. Oh my goodness, this stupid litter box. We have one of those automated litter boxes. I'm sorry, this is a tangent, and it's been going off all day. I even cleaned it before work because it went off at 6:50 in the morning when I was like, well, no, not 6:50, maybe 6:50. I don't know. It went off this morning when I was trying to be asleep. And yeah, it was annoying. But back to the book. So Ilya and Shane meet. The entire setup of the league is that they're supposed to be rivals. That's why it's Heated Rivalry. Like, they're the same age. They're playing on rival teams at this point. Shane is playing for Montreal and Ilya is playing for Boston. The names of the teams are slightly different in this, and I did Google it because I was like, are they different in the book? Because I was like, this doesn't sound the same, but I was like, maybe I'm just forgetting because, you know, my brain is soup. And it was like, yes, the names were actually changed due to NHL licensing because the NHL thought, or even if the NHL specifically didn't say it, what I could find was the names were considered too close between this book and the actual NHL teams they were like mimicking. And so they changed it for the show, which is totally fine. Just so you know, if I mention, I'm just going to call them Boston and Montreal because the actual team names are different. So they're playing for these rival teams, but they start hooking up very consistently, and they start catching feelings, and they don't expect to. Like, Ilya's just like, oh, like, Ilya's very into like casual sex, and he's not really limited in who he's sleeping with. He does at a certain point mention to Shane, like, oh, I sleep with women, like, it's a good idea to sleep with women for cover purposes, like, yeah, but also like men are nice, but like I slept with he does in both this and the show say that he slept with his coach's son, and he does talk about that, but he says like, well, I can't be out because then I can't go back to Russia, like I can't, and Shane's like, oh. So that does come up. That, again, is in the show. Shane, at the start of this, actually says he has a girlfriend whose name we do not ever learn. He'd been planning on breaking up with her. And he does. He breaks up with her before the actual, like, season starts. And he mentions, like, he's been in relationships with women. It's never great. Like, he's like, it's not a good time. They're nice. Like, but he's like, once we get to, like, the actual, like, intimate stuff, he does not feel motivated in any way. So we do learn eventually that Ilya is bisexual and Shane is gay, but that's like a progression throughout the book. Again, this is a lot of yearning, a lot of them trying to figure out if they have feelings for each other while also still being kind of like combative and competitive. So their dynamic is very, if you've seen the show, it's very similar. They like amp each other up, they kind of mess with each other, but they do have very intimate moments. And the interesting thing in this is there is a speech that Ilya does over the phone. He's very upset after events with his family, and he's in Russia, and he tells, like, he's like, I'm too, like, there's too much emotion and he can't speak English. Like, he's like, I can't say what I want to say in English, like, I'm too tired. And Shane's like, well, you can say it in Russian, and I may not know what you're saying, but like you can still say it in Russian. So Ilya gives a speech, but is not written in this. There are a couple lines that are translated for you later. The show does give him a full speech in Russian with closed captioning for the audience. So there is that speech more in the show than in here. A couple lines are in here, but Shane is our point of view as Ilya is giving the speech. And I would assume that is because Rachel Reed does not speak Russian and did not want to try and write something in Russian, which makes total sense. I wouldn't want to either. So yeah, they spend a ton of time together, and then they have to figure out a plan for what they're going to do, because they didn't expect to fall in love with each other, and now they are. And we do get events from the end of Game Changer in this, a little before the ending. So there is a coming out sequence like in the show, but there are events after that that I'm guessing will be in the second season to tie it into Long Game. I think it's the name of the next one they're in. The book's over there. That's why I look that way. Blah, 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 brain. So they do go to the cottage. All of that is in there. Again, very close adaptation to the show. As they're getting closer and closer, they are finding more time for each other. They are having more casual conversations that aren't just poking at each other or trying to get each other hot in awkward situations. And it is very interesting. We also still get Rose in here. Svetlana is in here, but Svetlana is not living in Russia. So in the show, Svetlana is both in Russia and in the United States, but she's different in this. She is a Russian who lives in the United States. So she's not like a longtime friend. She's someone that Ilya has met. But they kind of like combine people a little bit. We also get a little bit more of his stepmom in this. His father has remarried, and there will eventually be an issue with his father and like an estate, and Ilya has to deal with it, which is why he's in Russia. So yeah, but this is a very long, like there are steamy scenes. This is a very slow burn, and technically we're still in a slow burn state, because while they are together, because it's like happily ever after, they are together, they're still not out by the end of this. This is not Game Changer. They're not out. So they have this like long plan for how they're going to become friends in the public eye instead of rivals. They're going to do all of this stuff to make it so they can be together in public. And that is very interesting, because they like make the plan in the show, but we don't see it come to fruition, and it is coming to fruition in this book. So if you like the show, you definitely need to read this. I also think you should read Game Changer if you watch the show, for sure. Because there are some things in Game Changer that aren't in the episode we get for Kip and Scott. Especially because it's one episode as opposed to a full series. But I am very curious to see how the events at the very end of this that weren't in the show play out. And I'm guessing maybe they're mentioned again in Long Game, but I don't know. I'm gonna put this down. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty faithful adaptation. Again, some scenes are completely pulled from the book, including Shane and Rose discussing his sexuality and how they are not exactly compatible with each other. Ilya dealing with all his family stuff. We also get the setup for the character who is in the book that I started after this. Now, I know I kind of glossed over Heated Rivalry, but again, I feel like if you're here, you already knew the basic premise of Heated Rivalry. It is as steamy as the show. There is a lot of character development. There is a prequel that I think is interesting, because we get the two of them together, and Shane is still kind of like, I just like don't know. Like between the two of them, Shane is the more reticent to be in the relationship, it seems like initially, and then Ilya, once he like realizes like I don't want to go back to Russia, he's like all in. Like he's like, okay, we could be together. Like I'm not going back to Russia. We have to find a way. He's even like, I could get married to become a citizen, which he mentions in the show too. And I did find that very interesting. But I very much enjoyed it. Again, if you watched Heated Rivalry, the show, you definitely need to read the book. Now, moving on to the one I'm on now. I am currently halfway through, more than halfway, Tough Guy, which follows Ryan Price and Fabian. So Ryan Price is mentioned in Heated Rivalry. He is an enforcer. Oh no, that can't be on her. Hold on, I will be right back. Hi, I'm back. Okay. Chloe moved on the bed, and she actually has a leash on today to further limit her mobility. Oh, I want my sleeve to pull down. There we go. She had a suture that popped a while ago, like very early in her recovery, and yesterday it basically got worse. And so she needs to like not move at all. So she is on medication today to keep her sleepy, because we need her to just rest. but she moved and the leash is on her and I was afraid it was under her stomach, and so I was like doing this whole double check thing, and she's fine. But hopefully she goes to sleep. I want to put a blanket on her because it's cold down here. Maybe I'll turn on the fireplace. Anyway, back to tough guy. So in this we're following Ryan Price, right? Sorry, my bookmark's in here. Ryan Price and Fabian. And Ryan has just been traded to Toronto. And he goes by Ryan and Price, but I'll call him Ryan for a majority of this. So Ryan is introduced in Heated Rivalry as an enforcer that gets traded a lot. He doesn't really connect with the teams. He kind of keeps to himself. And then he is just expected to kind of police the ice. He's supposed to, like, if you're, like, when he's with Ilya's team, his job is to protect Ilya. So Ilya is allowed to do whatever the heck he wants. He's allowed to rile up other players. And then Price, Brian, is in charge of like putting that player in their place if they come at Ilya. And also because he's a well-known enforcer and he gets bounced around the league a lot, he's also kind of a target for younger players who want to like get their stripes, something like that. And so like they might pick a fight with him so they can look tough. And he won't hurt them. Ryan's been doing it enough that he's like, no, you just have to be careful. Like, you never want to hurt someone too much. And we actually learned that he has really, really bad anxiety. He is currently on medication. He's seeing a therapist. He hates flying. He's terrified of flying. He has to fly all the time. And he hates it because he's like, oh my gosh, we go to all these games. Half the time you could just take a bus. He was like, I don't know why we don't bus. Like, I'd rather be on a bus. He hates flying. And that is, the hates flying part is presented in Heated Rivalry. Ilya notices, and they watch Fast and the Furious 5. And in this, he does have to fly a lot, but he's in Toronto and he's like, well, I'm gay. He's like, only like a few people know. I'm not really keeping it a secret, but like, I don't really connect with people. Like, he just doesn't, he's not really enjoying playing hockey, and he's not really enjoying being this enforcer. He is kind of falling out of love with the game, but he does feel like he should continue playing because he's like, I just like, so many guys want to be doing this and I got the chance and I should keep doing it. And so he's kind of pushing through, even though he doesn't like being an enforcer. He's kind of just like meh about it. And currently he does not like his coach, and he does not like the star player whose name is like Kent. It is cute because Ilya does show up in this for a little. They're in a game together and Ilya is actually like, hey, yo, how are you? It was very cute. But because he is vaguely out, he's kind of like, yeah, like, I don't really worry about it. He is living in the gay district in a very nice apartment in Toronto. And when he goes out to pick up his anxiety medication, he runs into Fabian, who it turns out they knew each other at 17. So Fabian's parents used to host hockey students, and Fabian, hated it. Like, it was like guys who were playing hockey who needed a place to stay while they were in this like specific league. And his parents always put these kids up, and he actually kind of liked Ryan. Ryan was nice to him. Ryan came to this big concert of his. Like, he and Ryan kind of hit it off, but he couldn't ever really tell if Ryan was like into him or not. And Ryan was actually very like into him, but concerned about it because like he had just like gotten on this kind of NHL track, and the whole premise of these is like you can't be out, but now things are changing. At this point, Ryan is, like I said, kind of ambivalently out. He's like, well, if people ask me where I'm living, I'm gonna tell them. Like, he's like, some of my teammates have known, but like I don't really interact with my teammates, so it's not like a huge deal. But he and Fabian start hanging out more and more. But the issue is that unlike a lot of the other books where it's like very like there's a lot of sex, Brian actually has a bit of an issue there. His anxiety is very bad and his medication is very strong, it sounds like, and it's been causing some issues where Ryan like really cannot perform. He can't perform at, like, he's having issues just like doing anything. And so even though he's hitting it off with Fabian, he does not want to disappoint Fabian. So he's basically like, I'm not really a good fit for you. I'm sorry. Like, Fabian is exactly Ryan's type, and Ryan is petrified because he very much is like, I can't, nothing's happening down there. And he even like talks about it where he's like, I don't even like, he at one point literally says, I could cut you off for all the good you do me at the very beginning of the book. So we are well aware. So there's some like chaste kissing scenes. There is a more like a deeper kiss, and there are discussions of things that can assist you in the bedroom. That has appeared in the other books too. Like, the guys have dildos. In this one though, they have mentioned some other things, and humorously, a friend of Fabian's works at a store and reviews toys. So she's like, oh, if you ever want anything, let me know. So I think that's gonna play into this near the end. But again, a little over halfway through, and just they're still kind of feeling each other out, figuring out what's going on. So it is interesting. I'm actually really, really enjoying this one because Price is giving a much different character than in the other, like in the other books, where like he's not as invested in hockey. The other men that we've read who are hockey players are like very into hockey. Like it is their life. And really for Ryan at this point, he's like, no, I don't know that I want to play hockey anymore. So I'm curious to see how this ends. I'm very close. Fabian is a violinist, if I know I didn't mention that. And he's very, very good at music. And Ryan thinks it's so impressive. Fabian also does like more androgynous, like he does very cool makeup. And Ryan thinks that's incredible. And like Ryan is very, very into him. And he says his type is very like guys who basically do not give a fuck about gender norms. So he is like, no, like you're really my type. Like Fabian knows that he's Ryan's type. That has been established. So again, I'm very curious to see how this ends. I read a lot of it last night. The medication that I'm taking for this sinus or respiratory infection, whatever I have, it makes it really hard for me to sleep. So I didn't go to bed until like 12:30 and had to be up at 6. So I'm very tired. But I read a lot. So I'm going to try and read some more because now I'm drinking coffee to stay awake. But yeah, so I'll fill you in when I finish this one. Hopefully it'll just be like at the end of my workday. And yeah, that is it for now. I know these clips were pretty long, so the end recap of this will be pretty short, and then I'll just have 3 more books to go, which is very exciting. I am enjoying them a lot, and I did sneak a peek at the next book, and I was right. A character from Game Changer is the lead in the next book. So I was like, oh, I knew it. I knew one of you would be. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna drink more coffee. I still have a lot of time before work. So yeah, I will update you on the end of Tough Guy, probably after work. Hello, Gremlinos. So it is the, it's like a weird window in my lunch break. I can't quite, I guess like the middle of my lunch break. Krista swung by really fast and dropped off Wendy's, which is why it's behind me, that she had DoorDash to her work. So she could bring me my part of the Wendy's, and then she could help me take the dogs out really fast. So I still have lunch time, not a ton, but I was actually able to finish Tough Guy before work started. So I like sped through the end of this. I actually think this one might be my favorite. I was very into this one. I really liked following Ryan's journey in his understanding of his emotions towards hockey, his connection with Fabian, and I really appreciated the way any intimate scenes were handled because of Ryan's concerns and his anxiety that does actually impact his admittedly ability to perform. We also got a bit more into, there's sort of a third act breakup, kind of. I'm gonna call it that only because it does motivate some factors where Ryan does really examine what hockey is doing to his body and what he's willing to allow to happen to him. We also get Rosanov kind of consistently at a certain point. He shows up again near the end because there is like a tragedy. It does not technically impact our main characters, but someone is introduced in this who has a position similar to Ryan's, and something occurs and the two of them wind up both going to something related to that person. It ties well into the charity that Rosanov and Hollander have started, and it actually becomes like a whole thing where Ryan is going to be working in some capacity more closely with the two of them, and it leads to a very fun moment between all 3 of them that I'm not going to spoil, but just know all 3 of them wind up in the same place at the same time, and Ilya is a delight in the scene, and Ryan is lovely. It is just like it's so much different than what I expected, because the other books have really focused on like hockey as like a positive thing, while there are like sorry, my asthma's acting up. It's because of the whatever is going on that I'm taking meds for. Because all the other characters have been like, hockey is such an important thing, like there are concerns I have, but I love playing hockey. And this is the first time we've gotten a character who's like, I don't know that I care about hockey. Like, I don't know if I even want to be doing this anymore. So I thought that was interesting, and it was like the scenes, the intimate scenes were much different than they were handled in the other books because of the one, in part, the size differentials in here, and also just that Ryan has some things that need addressed for him to be able to actually have, and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it, have an experience that is beneficial for both him and his partner. So I just like really like this one. I really liked Ryan as a character. I really liked Fabian as a character. And I thought there were a lot of growth moments in this for both characters. So I really think this one might be my favorite. I know that's probably shocking, but I really, really like this one. So the next book I'll be reading will not be until tonight, tomorrow, who even knows. I also really need to shower tonight, and I promise I will be wearing something else. I will be wearing something else, I swear. The next time I talk to you. I may be in the same position, but I'll be wearing a different sweatshirt. I promise. But the next one we'll be reading is a little fuzzy. I feel like something just like fell off this book. Is Common Goal, which follows Eric Bennett, who is in Game Changer as a goalie. And in this, is he retired? Yes, he is retired in this, and then they introduce another non-hockey player character. So this is, yes, Bennett is the New York, is it the Ambassadors? I think it's the Ambassadors. It's Scott Hunter's team. He is the goalie for that team. And in this one, he's retired, though he's still in his gear, so I'm guessing we're getting into his retirement, but I don't know for certain. So I'm pretty sure there's dog hair or cat hair on that book that's now in my eyeball. That's fun for all of us. But yes, so that is my update. I really do think this is my favorite. I really, really like this one. But yes, I'm gonna get this cat hair out of my eye off camera. Oh, I actually got it already. It was a cat hair. It was a big fluffy boy cat hair. And then I probably won't talk to you until either late tonight or tomorrow morning. Probably tomorrow morning because I'm pretty tired and I do need to shower, and we're making dinner at home tonight. We're either doing like a frozen pizza or I'm making pasta, one or the other. So nothing fancy. And yeah, but I'm just kind of sleepy. And I do have a lot of stuff I have to get done tonight. So I probably won't talk to you until the morning. I might try and read tonight a little bit. But yeah, I will update you when I have thoughts on Common Goal, even if it's not the whole book. I'll try and update as I can. Again, some of these are going to be when I'm done with the book. Some of them are going to be just like whenever I have time to talk to you. But I definitely need to take a shower. My hair is so gross. But anyway, a cat just made a very loud sound. I have to go. My lunch break is probably close to, yeah, my lunch break is very close to over. So I will talk to you tomorrow morning. I'm going to go with tomorrow morning Gremolinos about Common Goal. Hello, Gremolinos. I promised you different clothes. I really did. I'm wearing a Clarkson hockey jersey sweatshirt. It has a hood. My workday has ended. I am, though, still sitting by my computer because I have to reboot it. Like, it's mid-reboot, so I'm only going to do its thing. But I'm here because I have finished all of Common Goal. Also, I didn't do my hair today because I didn't feel like it, and I'm not wearing makeup because my right eye was bothering me last night, and I didn't want to add to the situation. Instead, I did eye drops, no makeup. But yes, so I'm wearing this fun Clarkson sweatshirt that my wife got me. She went to Clarkson for oh my gosh, it was called the Clarkson School, and she went when she was still in like high school because my wife is very, very smart. And she actually did play hockey there. She was a forward. I double checked. And she actually got to practice with the team a little bit. And apparently there is a very good Clarkson hockey player, a women's hockey player, in the Olympics right now. So that's cool. And she's doing well. They're in the finals, I think. They're, as of right this, like today, they were playing Canada, but I don't know how that went. But hockey related things to continue, I guess. That was a horrible segue. I read all of Common Goal, which follows Eric Bennett, who is the goalie for Scott Hunter's team. And then Kyle, who is the guy that has a huge crush on Kip in Game Changer. So Common Goal really feels like a prologue / extension of, oh my gosh, of Game Changer. It is set in the same area. It focuses mostly on the relationship. There is hockey talk in here, but a lot of it is Eric Bennett, who is sometimes called Benny, thinking about retiring because he's 41 and that's old for hockey. And he's like, I'm a goalie and I'm tired and my body is sore and I would like to retire before I like can't move. So he is actually incredibly fit. He doesn't drink alcohol. He's a vegetarian. He does yoga. The man is like the pinnacle of health. But he's doing all that because he's a goalie and he's older and he just like is always in control. He is recently divorced. He divorced a little over a year ago, a little under a year ago. He'd been with his wife for a long time. And we learn that he's actually always known he was bisexual, but he just didn't see a need to come out because he was with his wife and he just kind of was like, what's the point? Like, I'm with my wife, it doesn't matter. So he just didn't. And he is actually interested him possibly pursuing men at this point because he hasn't been with anyone since his wife. And he runs into Kyle and is kind of like immediately sort of like, oh, that guy is attractive. And like, Kyle's a bartender, he's flirty. You did meet him in Common Ground and get kind of his personality. He is a flirt. And so Eric's kind of like, he's just flirting to be fun. But Eric and Kyle start really hitting it off. They actually have things in common. They both enjoy art. And they both become kind of like interested in benefiting each other's lives. Kyle's is a bit, Kyle is really the motivator behind all of the steamy scenes in this. He convinces Eric that he can help him experience his firsts because Eric hasn't kissed a guy. Eric hasn't had any experience with guys because he was with his wife. And so Kyle basically is like, oh, I can help you out. I can, I'd like to say that I think the common goal here is to get Eric to, enjoy a bedroom with a man, which does happen. This one has a lot of play involved. There's a lot of, I know the word, I don't think I would, just like holding your feelings in is how I'm going to say it, and tell you, like controlled moments is how I'm going to phrase that. But this one is very interesting. There is an age gap. So they're about 15 years apart, which I don't think is that big. So I just wanted you to know it's 15 years, and that age gap does play in because Eric does become very concerned that he is too old for Kyle consistently. And Kyle had an experience with an older man that is making him very like, I don't want you to like, I'm taking advantage of you or ruining your life or taking away your youth. So Eric is very cognizant of the age gap, whereas Kyle is actually like, he does like older guys typically. And so he's kind of like, well, it's fine. I'm gonna put this down. So like he's not as bothered by it. But throughout this, we get Kip, we get Scott. Scott and Eric are really, really good friends. Rosenhoff appears again. Shane does too, but Rosenhoff is so funny because I feel like he's a throughway in a lot of these where he just like appears and everyone's like, Rosenhoff is so weird, folks. And like, he's just like bantery and like knows things and it's so funny. But he just like appears, mostly for comedic relief, but he does appear. And the charity that he's running with Shane does get discussed. This is set 3 years after Game Changer, so it is an extension, and there is a wedding in this, which is very sweet. So that's why it feels very much like a sequel to Game Changer more specifically than any of the other books, because it is like same area, same characters. Even Maria, who previously worked with Kip, is in this. She and Kyle live together, and the Kingfisher is a big deal. But yeah, it was interesting with the dynamic. I feel like there was less hockey in this than in the other ones, which Tough Guy also limited the hockey. So like hockey was still a big deal in that one. There was still some of it in there. This one felt even more removed from hockey because Eric was discussing retirement. And so it just felt like we spent less time with hockey. Also, he's a goalie and he was saying he's very separated from the other players, just like in general. So the hockey talk didn't come in as much. It was more him and Kyle, or Eric by himself thinking about Kyle or thinking about things. So that was interesting. I did enjoy it. I did like both characters. Kyle is super, super flirty, like extra wildly flirty. And Eric is a much more restrained guy. Like he was like, he hadn't really done anything interesting. Like he says interesting, but he just like is not someone who has like done a lot of things. So it was interesting to see them kind of experimenting together and kind of creating this relationship through an I'm going to help you learn how to do things. So yeah, I did have a fun time. I thought it was fun. It was great seeing characters brought back in such a big way where they were like key to this plot as well. And now we're moving on to the next one, and they did introduce the character. I do love when you set up the next one in the book. So in this one, we're following Troy Barrett, who was introduced in Common Goal, and he is on, oh God, what is it? Is Toronto? He was on a team and he gets traded. So I'll find out what team that is. I think he's going to wind up on Rosenhoff's team because that looks like Rosenhoff's jersey, but I'm not sure. So yeah, so I'll be reading that one next. That one involves a very out gay social media manager. So I am curious, but I'll get reading on that one. And then I'll have another hockey shirt for you tomorrow. Well, that's my quick recap. I don't want to spoil these, so I'm just trying to give you like a general idea. But they are enjoyable. They are definitely very steamy. There's a lot of steam. So go into that. Like go in always knowing super steam. But I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I will maybe talk to you tonight. Probably not till tomorrow. We shall see. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel inspired to vlog tonight, but I highly doubt it. All right. Talk to you at some point later, Grandmolinos. Also, please enjoy this. It was so exciting. Krista got this for me forever ago, and I finally was like, I need to wear it. So yeah, but I gotta go. Talk to you later. Hello, Gremolinos. Look, we're in a different location. We're in my kitchen. Behold, you've left the couch. I am here because Krista a while back ordered us some wine and I thought I would maybe try one. So I would like to preface with, we ordered the wine in bulk from like an online store where like it was sets of wines. So a number of the things were like, you get 12 bottles for each set for like a very good price. So that's why we bought it. But it did mean that we wound up with like 2 very large boxes from Buy Wine Online or something. I don't know the name of the company. But I have this box of wine that I opened. I don't know what's in it. So I thought, since I opened this one, because it's on top, I would see what's in it and I would try one of them. I, again, have no idea what's in this box. Krista did show me the order when she did it. But let's see. I'm gonna flip you around. Sorry, it's very awkward. Some stuff has our address on it, so I was trying to avoid you seeing it. All right, what's in this? Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So the other one must be the Halloween set. So this is the box of wine. It does include a set, so like the Stella Rosa wine, 4 or 5. All of those were like a set that came together. And then, oh, actually there was a big set. There's like 7 Stella Roses in here. I don't know. The other box I'm very sure is Witch's Brew wine, which I've had on here before. It's by a company called Llewellyn Cellars, like Cellars. And it is very good. It's like one of my favorite wines. They do Witch's Brew, and they do a Witch's Brew that's like pumpkin spice and apple spice, and it's just really good. But I was saving that anyway, so this works out that this is the box on top, but I don't know what's in here. All right, this is blueberry, and I'm saving that for when Krista and I are drinking together. Maybe I'll do cab, possibly. Krista doesn't really drink cab. She's just like, Moscato, what are you? Red berry. I'm just lifting bottles. Pink. Again, I'm just peach. It's not me! There's a fire alarm going off on the TV. Stella Berry. And Chloe hates fire alarms, but it's not me, I swear. Oh, honey peach tasted like mead. Did I lift that? Black. I'm gonna try this one. I think this is a red blend. We will find out together, but this is the one we're going with. Stella Rose Black. And I'll open it and pour some in a bottle, and we shall see. Again, I have so many things on my counter. I'm doing chicken for Chloe in the crock pot. Oh, and I'm getting hot because the oven's on. I'm making like a little flatbread pizza. So, I don't know. This says it's black, and it's semi-sweet, and it should have notes of blackberry, blueberry, and raspberry. I have no idea. Well, I actually opened it for once. Oh, it does smell good. Okay. It is very dark. Let you behold that. I think that's good. I don't want to spill it. I don't want to spill it. That is good. It did say you should chill it, and it's not chilled. But it just tastes like berry wine, which is nice. I wasn't sure. I was gonna do the cab because Krista just doesn't drink cab at all. It's too dark for her. I'll have her try this, not on camera, but it is good. It does taste, it tastes very... It tastes very like blackberry raspberry to me, primarily. I feel like it's gonna stain my teeth and my lips. It does taste very good though. I might try and fit it in the fridge actually. But it is very, very good. I approve. But yeah, that's the quick clip for you in the kitchen. I'm gonna have Krista try this, try and get this in my fridge, and then pizza should be done. And then we're just hanging out for the rest of the night. I don't know what we're gonna watch. I only have 2 books in the Game Changer series left. I'm shocked. I forget when the new one's coming out, the 7th one. Because the 7th one I think is another Shane and Ilya book, but I don't remember. I'll have to look. Because I know another book in the Dream Harbor series is coming out and I'm gonna read that. So maybe if they come out near each other, I'll do like reading new books in series I've read on here before. I don't know, because I want to read both of them. But I gotta go. I will probably not at this point see you till tomorrow, but I did find theme shirts for the rest of this vlog, so be excited because I have 2. I at least have 2 to exist. But I'm gonna go Gremolinos to talk to you tomorrow. Oh, and I end with a cough. Lovely. Go asthma. Good morning, Gremolinos. It is right before work. I have a few minutes to talk to you, and that is because I have finished Role Model. I read most of this last night. Admittedly, I told you, I'm on meds that are making it hard for me to sleep, but I did read most of this. It was so interesting. So this one does take a bit, I want to say like a bit of a different turn. Much like how Tough Guy covered anxiety and that impacting your life and everything going on in your life. That's weird phrasing, sorry. Role Model actually focuses on, oh no, my battery's dying, this is so horrible. Focuses on Troy Barrett, who has been traded to the Ottawa team because he actually called out his former friend, Dallas Kent, for accusations that were brought up against him regarding women and very inappropriate behavior. He's been traded because basically they're trying to cover up the fact that he even attempted to say these accusations were true. He is kind of trying to figure out what to do with himself because he has used a lot of acting like a jerk to cover the fact that he is gay. He had a very, has a very difficult father who is very toxic masculinity is key kind of guy. And his mother and his father is actually divorced. And now Troy is kind of trying to use this moment on a new team to see if he can come out, if he can figure out how to handle being gay, if he can try and kind of make himself a less toxic person. And also he still wants to do something to help these women, even if it's something small, because he is worried that Dallas Kent will never actually face any consequences for his actions. While all this is going on, he meets up with Harris. Harris is the social media manager for the Ottawa Centaurs, and this is Chiron, I think it's how you say it, puppy that gets adopted. Harris is trying to like promote him, get him kind of set up, and the two of them kind of fall in crush with each other initially. This one, the buildup is a lot slower because Troy is dealing with so much. Harris is already out. Harris already is out to the team. He spends a lot of time with the team, and we're getting a lot of all the good stuff that the team does. This team is more familial in their connections, so they do a lot of stuff together. They're always around each other. They have great relationships with each other as friends. They're very open, so that's really great for Troy, and it's really helpful for him in this book. There are some steamy scenes there, I feel like are fewer than in the other books, but these two do ultimately get together. That's how these books work. But we also get some lovely moments with the team. Ilya is set up a lot in this as a very strong ally, quote unquote, and then he does come out as bi to Troy, and it does seem like Ilya is hinting that he doesn't want to come out officially because so many more people are coming out, and Ilya is very dedicatedly like standing up for people, protecting people. He even does a few things on the ice to support people, which we've seen before, but he does that a lot in this. Ilya is great. I think Ilya is my favorite character. He's like so fun to follow. And this is very sweet. Harris has a very strong family connection, and that is helpful for Troy because he doesn't really have that. His mom is actually traveling right now with her new husband, boyfriend. And so he doesn't really have anyone around, and it's just like a very interesting, it's more of a character study of Troy and watching how you can become something you don't want to be and how you can try and bring yourself out of that. I know I'm not doing this book a ton of justice, but it's harder to discuss because it is a lot of his character growth. And again, I don't want to spoil any of these, plus my battery is dying. So this one is very good, much more focused on real world events and very like serious in tone, but still very fun. There are very cute moments. There's a lot of Apple discussions, and also we get characters from Game Changer and from all the other books. They all show up, which is very fun. The next book will be The Long Game, which is an Ilya and Shane book. And that's all I'm going to tell you because, again, my battery is dying and my charger is upstairs. So, yeah, Role Model was very good. Very quick read. But, again, less steamy than the others. So, yeah, the next book will be an Ilya and Shane book. And I'm wearing a Mighty Ducks jersey that is Krista's. And Grogu pajama pants, which I think have a hole somewhere in that leg. But I gotta go. I'm gonna have to charge his battery at some point. I'll have to convince Krista that I need to run upstairs. But, yeah, the last book is up. And be ready for last book things. I'll probably talk to you before that one's over because it's pretty long. Good morning, Gremolinos. I was gonna jokingly say domestic goddess mode, but no. I'm wearing this very fun Bob's Burgers apron that Krista got me for Christmas, Thanksgiving. My birthday's near Thanksgiving, and also I made Thanksgiving at home for the first time. Sort of. Anyway, so it is morning. It's very early for a Saturday. We have to keep on Chloe's med schedule, so I was up at 6 and then up again at 7:30. So now like 8:15. I made coffee for Krista already. I have coffee. It's in my Cheers Queers cup. I have read a ton of The Long Game, but I'm not gonna actually recap it in this because I'm making pancakes and I'm not caffeinated enough to talk to you about it yet. But just know, at this point, I'm not gonna update you till the end because I only have 140 pages left, and I've hit like a very spoilery section that I'm not gonna share too much about. So like, I'm just gonna wait till I'm done and I'll give you my final thoughts. But please know, Ilya Rosanov, my favorite character. He's so good in this. He just very good character writing for Ilya. But because I am going to be making pancakes, Krista requested pancakes. Sorry, I keep coughing a lot. I did take my medicine this morning. It snowed last night and it's kind of cold in the kitchen. I don't know. My asthma's acting up. My asthma's acting up. My hands have been goofy. Well, this hand. The weather has made it kind of sore, which is common for this kind of injury, even when it's like healed. So, fun fact, it's the year anniversary of when, not today specifically, of when I accidentally lost the tips of my fingers to a snowblower. Well, tip and a half, full tip, half a tip. See, that's how I still have a nail. But they're really sore today. They'll warm up. Once they warm up, they're normally less sore. They're just really sore right now. That's an aside. Actually, I think it is the anniversary of my reconstructive surgery date. Yeah, because I got it on the 21st of last February. It's very weird. I was awake for it. I wanted to be awake because of the asthma. And I didn't want to be intubated and stuff. So yeah, I was awake and watched my whole surgery and I had a very chatty doctor. But anyway, the aside, you can tell I'm not caffeinated and I'm still tired. Ta-da! But I'm making pancakes, and because I'm making pancakes, I grabbed my iPad so I could watch some YouTube while I was making them. They're not fancy pancakes, I'm just making this quick pancakes. Ta-da! Following the recipe on the back. But because I'm most of the way through the long game, and that means I'm most of the way through the 6 books that exist, I did check, and the 7th one doesn't even come out until September. Not even out till September. So I'm gonna have to wait forever. I mean, we're all waiting forever, but still, forever. Though the flower, shoot, is it Daisy Chain Flower Shop? The new Dream Harbor book is out much earlier. I think it's out in March or May. One of the M's. So I'll be reading that earlier in the year, which is nice. I actually really enjoyed that series. I don't read a lot of straight romance, but that series was like fun. So I'm gonna read that one when it comes out, or something along those lines, close to when it comes out, I think. But yeah, so brain. I literally have just lost my train of thought. Can you tell? I need more coffee. But I am going to watch Gavin's Game Changer Heated Rivalry reading vlog, because it's long enough that by the time I even get near the long game part, I'll be done with the book. So I'll be watching that. I'll be making pancakes. See, I will show you a little setup over here. There's so much stuff on the counter. Stuff is a mess because we've got extension cords and kitchen things. But yeah, see, Gavin. Also some other random videos I have saved to watch just whenever. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Gavin's video and make pancakes. And then later today, I will talk to you about my thoughts on the long game when I finish it, because I'm finishing that book today. Gosh dang it. All right, talk to you later, Gremolinos. Definitely need coffee. Definitely need way more coffee. If only I could have a coffee IV, Gremolinos. Hello, Gremolinos. FYI, those are Krista's sweatshirts. Since we've been switching who sleeps upstairs, she has sweatshirts that like hang out on the bed so she can access them pretty easy because they're just up there. But it's just 2 sweatshirts, but they're gonna be behind me because I'm not moving. So I'm here because it's been a few hours. We had pancakes. There was a kerfuffle with pancakes involving syrup getting everywhere, and laundry happening. It was a whole thing. I tried to get into the bed on the floor to sit down, and there was a bunch of stuff at the foot of the bed, and I accidentally stepped on Krista's foot, and it was like a whole bunch of chaos for a little bit. But it was fine. We did laundry, and then took a nap, hung out, just relaxed a little, and then Krista went out to run all of our errands because I don't drive. She has to do all the like going out and about, and normally I would go with her, but we still can't leave Chloe alone, so she had to do a ton of stuff. She wound up going to 2 different grocery stores because of course something we wanted at one of the grocery stores was completely sold out, and then we needed like dog food and cat food, so she had to go to like 3 or 4 different places, and she picked up lunch. So she was doing a bunch of stuff, but while she was gone, I was laying like with Chloe on the floor bed, which you've seen, I think. If you haven't seen it, currently we have a full-size mattress on the floor of our living room because Chloe can't do stairs and she's not really supposed to jump up on things. So there's a bed on the floor. So I was there with her, and as soon as Krista left, she like got comfortable on my legs and just fell asleep. So I was completely just like immobilized the entire time Krista was gone, which worked out because it gave me time to read the last 100-ish pages. It might have been closer to, yeah, I think it was about 100 of the long game. Now, again, I'm trying not to spoil any of these, and this we do know is going to be season 2. I assume it'll still be like Heated Rivalry, it'll just be season 2. That this is going to be the basis for that season. It also means that I have finished all 6 books currently in the Game Changer series, because the 7th one does not come out till September, which I already told you. And based on this, I'll give you my like thoughts on what I think book 7 will be vaguely, very vaguely, I promise, at the end of this. But the long game is following, did it give me a year? 10 years. So Ilya and Shane at this point have been together for 10 years. Again, I don't feel like telling you that in general is a spoiler. This book is already out. Everyone knows this is going to be season 2, and also they're on the cover. But it has been 10 years, so keep that in mind as you're going into this, because the show, admittedly, the show has not gotten this far, but the book series itself kind of lends itself to following characters over time. And so we actually get scenes from Role Model in this book. So if you're planning on reading the series, I really would say you kind of have to read the whole thing. I mean, if you don't mind spoilers, then I guess you could read just the Shane and Ilya books if you wanted, but like this book includes stuff from Role Model, from Ilya's point of view, like scenes taken and then and then showing his side. So like if you haven't read Role Model, scenes will be spoiled for you before you even read it, just by reading this book. So just like keep that in mind. But we are following as Ilya and Shane are at a point, they have been together for a very long time, but only a select few people know. And I feel like a lot of this book follows Ilya's point of view more than Shane's. Shane admittedly is actually feeling pretty solid. They have a plan. He's like, we just kind of have to wait, and then after we retire, we can get together. We can officially be together, and no one will really care because we'll be retired, and like we'll have done all the cool hockey stuff we wanted to do and all of this, and like we just have to be like very focused and determined, and like we'll get through, and like then we can get married, all this stuff. Like Shane has a whole plan, but it is for after they retire, like after they're done playing hockey. And the issue here is that Ilya, the more time he spends like with the Ottawa team, with guys who are out or are considering coming out, he seems less into this plan. And he's not going to fight Shane on it. He's not pushing Shane to change his mind in any way. But Ilya is starting to feel kind of, I don't want to say upset, but there's something that's just like bothering him about them staying in the closet for so long and not being able to say that they're dating and not being able to say that they're together. And so it is causing a bit of internal struggle. I'm gonna put this down, for Ilya. And he's not really sharing that with Shane. And the other thing that we delve into for Ilya in this is his mental health. So as presented in the previous book, with Ilya and Shane, in Heated Rivalry, we do learn that Ilya's mother had issues with depression, and Ilya is concerned because he thinks he should feel happier, and he is not. And so it was a lot of Ilya trying to deal with the fact that things are going well for him in part, but he just can't bring himself to consistently feel happy, and he feels like something is just off. So we are spending a lot of time with Ilya on that journey to like understand what's going on with him, and him trying to figure out if he can deal with it himself, what he can do, and then him debating whether he wants to even tell Shane that he's having these issues, because he knows Shane has this plan and he is following the plan and he's sticking to the plan, but he also is having his own struggles where Shane has more people in his life. Shane has very supportive parents. Shane has friends who are supportive. Shane has made pockets of people who know he's with Ilya, and the issue is that Ilya doesn't really have that. He has Shane's parents, but he does not have his own parents at this point. He doesn't have any family, because any family he still has is in Russia, and he's not returning to Russia. At this point, he has decided he is not going back. And he also doesn't really have any close friends. When Shane isn't around, he's just at home. When he's not like with his teammates, he doesn't particularly go out as much. He doesn't feel as motivated to like spend time going out. He just like is very isolated, especially in Ottawa, because Shane is in Montreal. It's not like they're in the same city. Now it's like drivable, but like they can't consistently be around each other, especially with their schedules. So we're following them on kind of two different paths, and I feel like Ilya does become the focus because Ilya is the one struggling more. Shane occasionally has these moments where he wants to be out and he wants to be with Ilya more visibly and like be able to talk about how much he cares and loves Ilya, but he's a very disciplined, it comes up in this a bit more than it did in Heated Rivalry, but once Shane like has something he wants to focus on, he will focus on it, and that becomes like the end all be all, and nothing else matters. Like that is the goal, and that's what he's doing. And we also are getting the idea that different teams, now again, these are made up hockey teams, kind of. They're inspired by real ones, but they're made up. And I know that was like a weird sound. I feel like I'm gonna cough again, and then I almost thought I was going to sneeze. So that was fun. But he is not even sure how his team would react if him even being gay came out. Not even dating someone, just like if he was gay, what that would mean. And yeah, Shane is seeing that. Like, he's not sure his team would be as understanding, whereas Ilya is pointing out like his team is actually much better in some regard to Shane's. He says they're all, like, once Ilya starts trying a bit to interact with them more, he is building a very close dynamic with the Centaurs. That's who he plays for, the Ottawa Centaurs, which is a lovely team. And no lie, I did actually buy sweatshirts. So I owed Krista a Valentine's Day gift. And she got us these. She has a Hollander sweatshirt. But I wanted to get something, and I was like, oh my god, that would be perfect. So we have Ottawa Centaurs sweatshirts coming. They won't be in this vlog or even in a soon vlog, but I ordered them. I had ordered her Valentine's Day gift and we didn't even know if it was coming. This is an aside, I'm sorry, but we had no idea if it was coming. It actually showed up literally after I ordered the sweatshirts, and based on how much I paid for it, I got ripped off, which was really annoying. And I was worried about that, but it happened. Yeah. So anyway, she still got that gift, but it was not what I paid for or wanted exactly. So I got her something else. And it'll match. We like matching. It's a whole thing. But back to the long game. So a lot of this book is really focused on their steps going forward and what each of them is comfortable with. And legitimately, parts of this book made me tear up. Ilya is given a lot of time to voice his concerns, his thoughts, what's happening with him. And it is very, very emotional. His sections do talk primarily about depression, about how he is dealing with all of this. And I'm not going to give you any specific scenes or specific things that occur in this. There are very happy moments in this. There are some interesting moments that happen in this. There is a moment near the end that I was not expecting. I assumed would be in a later, like in the new book that's coming out, but nope, I was incorrect, which makes me think book 7 may or may not have, this is my assumption on book 7. I'm not entirely sure it was fully planned, because technically when you finish this, it could, like, this could end a series and I think people would be okay. I do think 7 is going to be very gay. My assumption of 7 is every single character from the other books is going to be in it very prominently, and it's just going to be a gay hockey player and their partner Palooza, whether their partner is a hockey player or not, because a lot of people do show up in this, and a lot of characters. That's why this almost felt like a final book, and I actually would not have been surprised, but we're getting a 7th, so maybe a 7th was planned, but maybe she wasn't sure she was going to do it or not, but it's been so popular because of the show the book 7 is happening. I don't know, but I am just assuming 7 is going to be very, 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 very gay. Possibly shorter than this though. I have a feeling it'll be shorter. Those are just my assumptions, and we've seen the cover. So the cover of that one is a little spoilery based on hockey jerseys, so if you pay attention you'll understand what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say anything specific. Just the hockey jerseys on the front are normally signs of things. A minimal thing. You'll understand. But yeah, this one just made me tear up. It has some very good, like, quotes and very strong moments, and we see a lot of character development. Again, I do feel like this is a more Ilya focused book because Shane is changing and he is going through his own moments of growth, but we're more focused on Ilya because Shane's primary focus is still controlling a lot of the things going on around him and controlling how their relationship will be received or perceived by others. So I do really think this is a very strong Ilya book. I also feel like Ilya is just such a solid character throughout the series. He is interwoven into most of the other books, and he does interact with almost all the other characters, whereas Shane does not. Shane, while he has his own pocket of people, I feel is very isolated into the Heated Rivalry book and this book, whereas Ilya is more connected, like trying to connect with other hockey players, and Shane is more focused on like him and then ultimately Ilya because he loves him, but Shane's plots always feel very centered to that, like to just them, and Ilya feels like a larger, all-encompassing character, where he is like the mainstay of the series. Like you can see him appearing in other things, or he's mentioned at least, even if it's in passing, he still appears. Like he's in Game Changers. Ilya appears and talks in Game Changers, whereas Shane is like mentioned. I don't even think Shane talks, if I remember correctly. I don't think he does. But this one is now probably my favorite of the Game Changers books. I know, I said Tough Guy was. I still very much like Tough Guy. Also, characters from Tough Guy are in this, and I was very happy. But yes, I do think at this point this is my favorite book of the series, and I'm curious to see how Unrivaled will live up to this one. I think Unrivaled will be good, but I'm just wondering if I will still like this one more after I read that one in September. I can't believe I have to wait till September. Oh, I was gonna say something else. Oh, yes. Again, I would really read Role Model before you read this one. There are scene for scene moments in here, and it literally will spoil the entire book for you unless you read this, like unless you read Role Model first. So you should just read it. You should read Role Model first. Just please, you should read the whole series, but like if you're going to bounce around and not read all of them, I would still say you have to read Role Model before this, unless truly you don't care if you get spoiled for the entire book. But yes, I think actually there's a thing in Role Model that doesn't happen or get mentioned in here, so maybe they'll use it at the beginning of Unrivaled. I'm very curious. No, they glossed over it. Sorry, you're just seeing random things. No, it didn't happen in this. There's a thing in Role Model that happens that occurs to a hockey player that didn't get mentioned in here, though they do make asides to that character. It's like a comeuppance kind of thing for someone. But yeah, so that is the entire vlog. Those are all the books. I don't know if we're watching Heated Rivalry today. We were going to rewatch it. We might do that tomorrow. I'm not sure. And I wasn't going to film that anyway, because I really don't want to have to deal with copyright stuff. And I don't really do like reactions to. I have been watching Gavin's video. I am not done yet. It's just long, and I'm kind of watching it while I'm in the kitchen and doing stuff today. So it'll take me a while to finish it, but he does a really good job reacting to things. If you want to see someone reacting to the series and the books, I've made it through him talking about the first two. And that's as far as I've gotten, but I am going to finish the video because I've been looking forward to watching it, just I haven't had the time, and I was not done with the books, and I was like debating about waiting, like trying to watch it like timed up with each of the books. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be wild, but I didn't do that. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this vlog. I cannot wait for September at all. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I have to wait till September. Also, there are two cats giving each other baths next to my lake now, which is very distracting. So yeah, I had a great time. Sorry, I'm not all like made up and fancy, but I'm tired. I just felt like a really long week. And I just wanted to be cozy, and I didn't want to do my makeup or my hair for the past couple of days, so I didn't. But yeah, definitively, as we end this vlog, Ilya Rosanov is my favorite character in the Game Changer series. He is just like, he's such an interesting character because he has that like presence initially of like bad boy, kind of like a playboy, but he is a lot more complex than that, and he has a lot more going on than that. And the more time we get to spend with Ilya, the more we see him trying to create bonds and kind of come into his own outside of this like persona he has built up, in part for his own protection, but we do get to see like the mushy side of Ilya, and I really, really appreciate that. And he's gotten a lot of books for that to occur in, because he's literally appeared in like all of them. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Sorry if I was a little scattered in any of these. Again, I've been kind of tired, and I know this clip is very long, and I know my hand is like really close to camera. I'm holding you kind of funny. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. I have no idea what I'm reading after this. I do need to do my buzzword books for February. Yeah, I may only be reading one book for that though. We'll see. I've figured it out. But yeah, so with that, oh, and I'm on Instagram. Duh. Also Cliff Go Ever After. I think sometimes I forget how to do a sign off because I'm just all over the place. But yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you in the next one, Grammarly Knows. Bye. Surprise, Grammarly Knows. Okay, I'm so sorry. I know the video technically ended and I said bye and I did all the things. I have a correction. So we just finished rewatching all of Heated Rivalry, and we watched the whole thing, which involved the episode that is based on Game Changer, and then the extension of that like book slash episode that appears at like episode 5 at the end, beginning of episode 6, end of episode 5. Elena and Maria are played by 2 different women. For some reason in the actual episode where it's focused specifically on Kip and Scott, Elena and Maria never appear in the same scene together, and they never and they still don't actually talk in the same scene, but in the extension clip where Scott is giving a speech and Kip is at the Kingfisher watching the speech with all of his friends, Elena is sitting next to Kip and Maria is sitting like on the other side, and Elena talks but Maria doesn't, and I'm blaming the fact that the 2 women are only in that scene together. In the actual like Kip Scott episode, they're not together at all, and we watched it very late at night the first time. Literally, we watched it from, I just know we ended watching it at 4 a.m. So I think I was just like tired and just thought they got combined. But I wanted to correct that because it is 2 different women. Like 2 different people are playing those characters. I just for whatever reason thought they got combined. Now Svetlana is kind of an interesting character because like Svetlana from Heated Rivalry, because she does appear, and I did talk about this, but she is shown both in Russia and in America, and that doesn't happen in the book. But that's just my like mild like oops situation, and it was bugging me that I hadn't corrected it. So just because now I know, letting you know, that's it. That's the end of the vlog now, officially, with my tiny correction about Maria and Elena being played by 2 different people. Sorry that I thought they were played by the same one. I blame tiredness and my like not as dedicated watching the first time around. But that is officially the end of the episode. I will see you in the next one, Gremlin knows. Bye.